I've got these. No problem. How many times do I have to tell you, Andi, you were supposed to leave the owner's valuables securely behind? Jerry just shook his head. Rookies. Oh, and just how was I supposed to do that? This was my only chance to get the Mustang. It's been locked up in the groom's parents' garage until this morning. I snagged it the first moment no one was around. Well, that's just great, Jerry complained. Now I get to call the groom and let him know he can come by the office to get his luggage. Jerry wrote a note on the pad of paper on his desk, then looked over at her with a grimace. You know I hate dealing with the skips face to face. That's why you get paid the big bucks, being the owner and everything. She waved away his objection. Then his expression changed. His eyes widened and a big smile spread across his face. Wait, did you say the Mustang? Are you talking about the '65 Mustang convertible? It's out back, Jerry asked. He didn't wait for her to answer. He was already getting up from his chair. Oh, sure. Now you jump up. Where was that energy when I was struggling with the suitcases? Jerry ignored her and said, You know, before we turn the Mustang over to the lender, I'd better take it for a test drive just to make sure the engine still runs well. Andi snorted. Whatever. I don't remember you doing that with any other cars I've delivered. Jerry walked over to her chair, still grinning like a big kid, and held out his hand. Don't be a smartass, he said and wiggled his fingers. Hand over the keys, Squirt. He was the only person who ever dared to call her Squirt, a ridiculous nickname he'd been using with affection since they were kids. They grew up in the same neighborhood, and since he was 6 years her senior, he was kind of like an older brother and maybe an annoying, overprotective cousin. She dropped the key in his hand and rolled her eyes. Be careful with the car, old man. I'm counting on my nice, big, fat check from this job. Don't worry. I'll write you that check as soon as I get back from my drive. You make an okay repo agent, Andrea Sloan. Jerry ruffled her hair and then walked out the back door whistling. Yes! Andi pumped her fist in the air. This check would give her a little breathing room. Things were always so tight financially. She'd been one mortgage payment away from foreclosure with her former waitress job at Star City Bar and Grill. This repo gig was bringing in decent cash. She smiled. Time to celebrate. She pulled out her phone and sent a text to her two best friends. Indian takeout and Avengers tonight. My place and my treat. Later that night, Andi grabbed a handful of organic popcorn from the bowl on her coffee table and popped several pieces in her mouth. She loved just hanging out on her comfy sofa in her childhood home with her two best friends in the entire world. Leaning forward, she took a sip from her can of cherry Coke and placed it back on the coffee table. Okay, which of these amazing superheroes would represent your ideal guy? Maggie, you go first, Andi said. They were watching the Avengers movie, but they'd seen it so many times they sometimes did the dialogue along with the characters. Duh, Maggie replied. Bruce Banner, obviously. He's a scientist, for starters, which I find incredibly sexy. Plus, no one messes with him because they don't want to make him angry and deal with the Hulk. Andi laughed. Ha! We both know that you like him because he's literally green and you love green food and smoothies, being a vegan and all. Maggie smiled and swung a sofa pillow at Andi, who laughed and managed to dodge it just in time. Now me. Andi pointed to herself and tucked her feet under herself. I'm Team Thor all the way. You've got to agree with me, right, Ben? She turned to look at Ben. Those amazing muscles, hair, that intense blue gaze. All completely melt-worthy, right? She asked Ben. Thor is tempting, but I'll have to go with Tony Stark, Iron Man. Ben leaned back in the chair and took a swig of his beer out of the long-neck brown bottle. What? How can you say that with a straight face? Andi asked. Well, he's got the super suit that allows him to fly and shoot people. Plus, he's obscenely rich, dresses fabulously, and has the best gadgets. Ben set his bottle down on the coffee table, reached forward, and grabbed a handful of popcorn from the bowl. Okay, I'll give you that. Having loads of money and being able to fly would be cool superpowers, Andi said. Of course. What do you need with Tony Stark when you're dating Daniel, the super sexy...